Hi, are you African and you live in Africa, but you want to study in the United States of America for free, absolutely free, and you do not know where to start or how to start? Then you want to grab a chair and sit down and join me in this series as I walk you through from the start to finish. Hi, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Excellence Enrique Joshua again, and today in this particular episode, we're going to be talking about letters of recommendation, how to get strong recommendation letters for your graduate school. We're going to be talking about why recommendation letters matter, who to ask, and how to politely request for these letters. Now, it is very, very important. Your recommendation letter, very important for your grad school application. And so don't just take it casually. I know that there are some people that um can be very dicey to about it and take it casually and just put anything. No, don't do that. It's very important. Now, now you know that your recommendation letter is important. Your recommendation letter can just be your distinguishing factor. So don't take it lightly. Who do you ask for recommendation letter? You can ask professors, supervisors, or mentors you know well. Now, for most grad school, people think I can only ask people that taught me in academics. Now, when I was graduating from undergrad, I didn't keep so much tabs with my lecturers, and I was wrong. I think I regret ever doing that. I was very wrong to have done that. So when I wanted to apply for grad school, I felt embarrassed, or I felt it's not fair to go and be reaching out to them to ask for that. Also, I was applying to too many schools. However, in my experience, like in terms of my work experience, I have worked with so many people that I kept tabs with. I had so many great relationships. So they had said academic reference were good, but I just had not kept tabs with my lecturers, and I knew they would not provide something solid for me. So I had to bank on the other relationships that I have, which were professional relationships. And I just tried, oh, let me just trust God. And I got into everything I got into. Because they were able to justify stuff for me. But after I did that, when I came to masters, I'm keeping tabs. I'm working good with my lecturers. I'm letting them know, hey, I'm applying for a doctorate. I might need you to write a recommendation, please, and all of that. So if you're in school undergrad now, you want to keep tabs. If you want to apply next year, carry your phone and call that lecturer. So how are you doing? If possible, send a gift, and something just to say hi without asking until it's time to ask, so that you don't just be that leech that it's only when you want something you come. Now, who to ask is also important, that you ask people who really know you or people that care about you, because they'll write from their heart. If there are some people that you just write and they just write it shabbily. Now you're trying to, this series is about not just getting admitted, but actually getting funding. I don't think admission is so much of a problem. You can get in, but funding is the cocoa. And so it's important to have to um know to ask the right people. And then your school will detail the people. If they say they want two academic, one professional, then you know how to get that. Then when you're asking them, you can reach out to them um informally, like a call, and say, hey, please, this is good afternoon, ma, good afternoon, sir, please can you do this for me? Or you can, and then you can write email. Don't just write a cold email when you've not informed them informally first. Reach out to them and ask them if they can, and reach out to them early. In fact, when an application window starts, for example, I'm working on some application now, and there's one that I think before I even put in my SOP or anything, I just requested for the recommendation letter, like, so that the application portal can send them a request already. Send it early, give them time. I'm working with some of the people I'm working with, my recommendation letters are very busy people. So I give them heads up. I had a meeting with them, let them know, then I sent them the request. When I sent them the request, it's important that when you're communicating your recommenders, you're able to provide them with key information. Don't just say, please, I'm applying to this school. Can you write a recommendation letter for me? It's not enough. You want to be so clear as to, like, um, please, I need a recommendation letter for this, for so number of schools. And you can share a spreadsheet to them if you're applying for many schools, to tell them this is what the school is looking for. These are the things they're looking for. Then, if possible, attach your SOP and your resume to it. right? You can also tell them that I did this work with you and I really want you to highlight this work in my resume. Another thing I did was I asked my recommenders then that please include that they should give me whatever funding that I'll be very valuable, like that funding thing. I need funding, so put it in my recommendation, right? You want to guide them on what you think they should write. Sometimes they'll tell you, write me a brief and send to me, then I'll put in my own words. Those people can be amazing. But some people will just tell you, write whatever you want and give me to sign. I don't really like that. When people tell me to do that, I tend to step back. Um, but then, if you have not built solid relationships, how will you do that? So please build solid relationship with people so that when you need them, they will be able to be there for you as well. So guide them and tell them for all my application, I always waive my right to read my recommendation letters. I've not read any except one that the person that wrote it sent to me to say, look at what I submitted. I've not, do you think there's anything I should add? And I'm like, no, thank you very much, ma. And these two of them did that. But I always waive my rights. To be honest, I can't really talk about whether it's good to waive your right or not. But I think when you waive your right, it shows them that you really trust who you're calling to give recommendation. And I feel it says a lot about you. But if you don't waive your right, they might see that, hey, when you say recommendation letter, you say, hey, this one is not good enough. You go and remove it and request another person. It can say a lot about you. So you want to discuss with them what the school is looking for and all of that. Sometimes when I wanted to apply for so many schools, I tend to have so many people that I was going to ask. So, oh, these two people will do this one. So that they are not overburdened and they don't just write the same thing in all the recommendation letters. I wanted it to be unique to the school and the program I was asking for. So I hope that helps. My next video, I'm going to be talking about standardized tests as a GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, and the IELTS. So let's get right into it.